to declare a state of emergency.
The reason Tinubu gave Nigerians when he appointed the sole administrator in Rivers State was for him to go and secure national assets and also to make sure there is no breakdown of law and order. On the same premise, National Assembly authorized the illegal appointment. Of course, they breached the law that says that they must obtain 2/3 before they can authorize the appointment. And now, the illegal sole administrator has deviated from his mandate from securing Rivers State to delving into politics. He first started out by sacking all political appointees. Now he is now appointing political appointees. Remember, no one elected this man. Tinubu appointed him. So it's a wonder that he is appointing people into political positions. What will be next? Is he going to conduct elections? Because it doesn't make any sense. This man dissolved the board of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. He appointed the chairman and other board members. He has also appointed local government administrators, which is against the Supreme Court ruling. Supreme Court ruled that appointing people to head local government areas will mean that their allocation will not be released to them. In other words, only elected chairmen of local government areas are recognized according to the Supreme Court judgment. Anything short of that will mean that their allocations will be seized by the federal government. So what exactly is the sole administrator doing? What next is he going to do? Is he going to announce a date for the local government elections in Rivers State, having appointed a new chairman of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission? This is why a federal high court judge in Port Harcourt has made an order summoning the Rivers State sole administrator, Ibok Ibas, to appear before him to show cause why the judge will not order him to stop the appointment of 23 administrators in 23 local government areas of Rivers State. Although this sounds as if the judge is begging the issue because he should have made an order stopping him from appointing these administrators. Anyway, it's still a step in the right direction because this man feels no one can call him to order, that he has ultimate powers in Rivers State. Remember when Tinubu was making all these suspensions, he specifically named the Judiciary that they should continue to operate, as if he has the power to suspend them. Even military men couldn't suspend the Judiciary when they were in power. Under the military, the courts continued to operate. We had fearless judges at the time that made many orders against the military in power at the time. Nigerians fought the military using the courts, unlike now that most judges are afraid. Yes, they already know the body language of their superiors, so going against that means putting their careers on the line. So it's very understandable, but the blame still goes back to the judiciary. Remember, it's the Supreme Court that put Tinubu in power. Yes, if they didn't rewrite Nigerian constitution, he wouldn't be there today. And now he has turned back on the same Supreme Court, disobeying their orders. Remember that the Supreme Court ordered that the federal allocation of Rivers State must be withheld until the governor presents a budget. Now, no one presented any budget to any assembly in Rivers State, but Tinubu has gone ahead to release that federal allocation to the sole administrator he appointed. And the same sole administrator also wanted to present a budget. To who? He said they are working on a budget. To present to who? Maybe the National Assembly. That was why the National Assembly reprimanded him. In a serious warning to Rivers State sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ibas, retired, Philip Abese, the deputy spokesman of the House of Representatives, said the sole administrator does not have the authority to carry out the National Assembly's function of making laws under the current circumstances. The Speaker of the House is consulting with the leadership to establish a committee to oversee the administrator's activities and ensure that the interests of Rivers State are represented. We assume that the President has been informed of our resolution regarding the administrator's appointment and mandate. Should the administrator exceed his authority, the House will take necessary actions, including the possibility of a vote of no confidence to ensure accountability and adherence to the rule of law. Now they are talking about rule of law. Did they think about rule of law when they authorized the state of emergency declaration with a voice vote, when the rule of law and constitution says that they must obtain 2/3 before it passes? We all know what we are doing in Nigeria. Maybe they are expecting their palms to be greased once again so that they will look away, pretending as if nothing is happening, and the man and whoever sent him will have their way, because it's very obvious that the man is on a mission. Otherwise, why is he involving himself in politics? He was supposed to come to Rivers State and take charge of security, make sure there is no breakdown of law and order. Besides, there wasn't breakdown of law and order before he came. In other parts of the country where there is serious breakdown of law and order, there is massive kidnapping, people are being killed in the northwest, in the middle belt, in the northeast. Even Borno State governor recently claimed that Boko Haram currently has an advantage in Borno State, that Borno is falling. So all these places, they can't declare a state of emergency. Only in peaceful Rivers, where people are minding their business, they've not even thought about protesting the illegal appointment of a sole administrator. Now, the illegal appointment of a sole administrator in Rivers State and subsequent suspension of elected officials have come under the radar of a US-based law institute, the Law Research and Development of the United Nations. The Director General of this institute, Cyprian Edward Epo, has some strong words for Tinubu, saying that Tinubu doesn't have any power to suspend an elected official. He called it a democratic crisis. In a letter he wrote, he said, "It has become widely held global perception that Nigeria's judicial system suffers a crisis of confidence. Many have lost faith in the court's integrity, moral standing, and intellectual credibility. Mr. President, just a few days ago, a reputable individual was denied the opportunity to rent an office space in Washington, D.C. simply because he was Nigerian, on the premise that Nigerians cannot be trusted. Similarly, a business partner withdrew from a tripartite investment contract solely because a Nigerian company was involved, citing concerns over the dispute resolution clause which designated Nigeria as the jurisdictional venue. These are not isolated incidents. Nigerians frequently face visa denials, cancellations, and unwarranted suspicion in the global market. Beyond concerns about fraud, often driven by economic desperation and weak social security systems, Nigeria's greatest reputational burden is its judiciary. Mr. President, there is seemingly straightforward yet profoundly consequential issue, one with the potential to tarnish a leader's legacy irreversibly. For decades, even as far back as the 1990s, when I was a child, my ears glued to my parents' radio, my ears fixed on the television and newspaper headlines, you were known as a staunch pro-democracy advocate and a defender of the rule of law. However, the handling of the Rivers State crisis has shattered that image, erasing the memory of your once principled political stance. It has cast doubt on the democratic values you once embodied, leaving many to question whether the ideals you championed were ever truly a part of your leadership philosophy. It is clear that your advisors, whether out of mischief or ignorance, have misled you, tarnishing your reputation and bringing Nigeria into disrepute on the global stage. I have engaged with many individuals, including senior lawyers in Nigeria, and I have consistently maintained that you, Mr. President, are not to blame for this situation. The responsibility squarely falls on the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi SAN. Unfortunately, in this instance, he has failed in that duty. It is particularly disheartening that a legal mind of his caliber, widely regarded as one of Nigeria's finest, has handled this matter so poorly. Cases like this, along with the persistent global perception of Nigerians as fraudsters, contribute to constant visa denials, cancellations, and a broader distrust of our nation by the international community. What arcane magic did the National Assembly conjure a 2/3 majority? You have to immediately revoke the emergency rule and restore Fubara to his position as governor. All nice and good. The more people talk about it, the more influential people hear about it, and maybe the people that he can listen to will talk to him about it, and who knows, he might reverse it and sack the sole administrator. Right now, he listens to no one. No one can hold him to account. He's above the Supreme Court, he's above the National Assembly. He's operating like a dictator, an emperor. One more thing to correct the impression that Mr. Cyprian made, the fact that Tinubu fought for democracy. No, he never fought for any democracy. He needs to get in touch with NADECO members in the 90s and listen to what they said about him. They continue to say it, but it was made public during the election of 2023. They even accused him of betraying the mandate, what they were fighting for at the time. He betrayed everything. All he's been doing his entire political career was to get to the top. He seized every opportunity that arose along the way to draw the masses to him, and eventually got to that top. So people who don't know him very well, especially when he was governor of Lagos, are now feeling surprised. No, he has always been the same person. He has always had that dictatorial tendencies. So no one should be surprised. He's been the real him. He has never been different. Thanks for watching.